Hey guys, Jack here. Wanted to take a few minutes to discuss some thoughts that I've had regarding Anthem as of late. The executive summary here being that I'm done with the game for now, and we're going to put it down for the time being. The game itself is beautiful, but the game itself is repetitive, and not repetitive in the manner that one would usually expect from a looter, shooter, or grindy game. It's repetitive in that it's just simply boring. Now this comes with some other concerns as well. Really, the world seems like it's more dead than alive. This applies to not only the NPCs, the open world, but also the fact that a lot of instances out there these days are just simply empty. There's not other players in there to jump in. The whole concept of it being empty is compounded by the lack of any kind of chat, even in the gathering area, which, why add the gathering area in the first place? So you can watch other people jump all over the place and, wave at them? It really looks like the player base here is dropping like a rock. And you add that to the extremely repetitive gameplay, and it's just ending badly all around. I feel that the game is in a low quality state. I have long load times on an extremely high-end PC. Add to that the console issues that are going on, not necessarily the whole discussion of bricking consoles, just more so looking at console stability, as I believe that's indicative towards the quality state of a piece of software that's released cross-platform. And then you add onto that the weapon scaling issues that have come up within the last several days. And really there's a reasonable case to be made there for having a game in a low quality state. Looking to the handling of the player base by the publisher slash developer slash whomever they've employed to do that, I think that it's been handled poorly. The idea of banning players for economic exploitation in a PvE game with no trading or economy or any other economic features, I think is a little narrow-minded and short-sighted. Now coming down the road, there is a roadmap. That roadmap adds features, but that roadmap doesn't improve the game's core competency. That's very, very unfortunate. I would like to see something like removing the loading screens or making the load times trivial, or maybe even a seamless world in Anthem, the way that it was advertised from the get-go. Now there's a large patch that's also on the horizon, has over 300 changes to it that's been documented ad nauseum elsewhere. With that, I'm taking a wait-and-see approach. There are some of the changes in there that I find interesting. There are a lot of them in there that I just I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, you're polishing the turd, but it's still a turd. Don't get me wrong, I like the premise of this game a lot. This game has the potential to be a fantastic title, but it needs a lot of polish. Turning to the business considerations behind the game and behind the product that we have currently, I don't find myself pointing a finger at BioWare as the developer for the state of the product. The developers are not the publishers, and that remains true in this circumstance. It's worth remembering that Electronic Arts owns BioWare kit and caboodle. Looking to the timeline, EA has owned BioWare for the entire 6-year development cycle of this game. To me, that points to continuing issues behind the scenes between Electronic Arts and BioWare. Perhaps some leadership shakiness in there, or some management that are unwilling to pull the trigger on a game. I don't really know what it is, and I doubt that we ever will. Looking at what we do know and what we can probably accurately speculate on, EA likely threw the thing out the whole door knowing full well that it was half-baked. Now 6 years is a long time. It's a long time to be working on a game, and for a company like Electronic Arts that's so focused on the bottom line, that's a long time to have an intellectual property and the potential earnings sitting there without turning a dime while throwing a whole bunch of money at it. I think that the whole release thing smells like somewhat of a sunk cost fallacy out here. Basically, we've spent so much time and so much money in the whole thing that it will be received in an okay manner because of the amount of work that we've done to it. If we release now, it'll be close enough to our vision, and we could make it fill that vision in time. What we have is plenty enough because we've spent so much money on it. Actual result here is that it was released in a seriously broken state and really hasn't improved much since then. Looking at the state of the game as it stands right now, I believe that the game would make a decent alpha. You generally have your core features in place, but they generally don't work as intended. Really, the game doesn't appear to be feature complete. And when it gets feature complete, it might make for a reasonable beta, but in my opinion, we are nowhere near a fully polished, ready to launch, let's throw it out there to the consumers. Final note on this point, and more to follow on this in a separate video, but right now is probably the worst time possible in the last 24 months to release a game that is anything except for a perfect or near perfect result. In the very poor state of recent AAA launches, launching a game that is anywhere near unpolished is just simply going to have it roped in with prior failures such as Fallout 76. If you bang around the internet enough, you can absolutely find some cool graphics discussing Anthem 76. In my opinion, that shoe fits. In summary, and moving back to a high-level perspective, the game has a ton of potential going forward, assuming that EA doesn't kill it, because we all know that underperforming properties in EA result in the studio getting shut down, absorbed, broken up, or lit on fire. An example of a game in this genre that did get a lot better over time is Warframe. Biggest difference here is Electronic Arts is a AAA publisher. Digital Extremes, they were just a little guy when Warframe came out, and by far and large they still are. I don't think right now there's enough there to make me want to continue playing in a proper sense, but that doesn't mean it can't get there from here. A lot of time, a lot of love, a lot of patches, and maybe even something close to or akin to a significant overhaul could bring myself and probably a lot of other players back to it. So what we're going to do is down the road we will take a look at Anthem again. For now though, it's off the hard drive and we're making room for other cool things. That's where we're going to go ahead and wrap it up, boys and girls. As always, thanks for your time. If you liked the video, if you found any of this content either entertaining or informative, please give me a thumbs up. If not, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will catch you boys and girls again in the next one.